is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Part of the Hobby, the show where we focus on y'all and y'all's collections. The stories, the cards, the stories behind those collections. It's one of my favorite shows to do, and you guys know I do an awful lot of them, but it's one of my favorite to do because I love just seeing the beautiful collections. And my guest today, who I'm going to introduce in just one moment, I've known him for a while through Vintage Breaks. I've known him quite well, actually, and a couple of weeks ago, I found out that he has quite the impressive collection, and I knew I had to have him on the very next episode of Heart of the Hobby. So, without further ado, welcome, Monte. What's up, buddy?
Thank you, Drew. Excited to be on the show.
No, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's crazy. Like I said, we've known each other for probably well over a year now, through Vintage Breaks and everything, but I had no idea that you were such a diehard PC collector, which we'll get into in just a moment. But first things first, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got into collecting, all of that, the whole backstory.
Sure. Like all kids, my age as a kid, pushing 40, everybody around our age grew up collecting that junk wax baseball era. So I would go to the store, find a 1987 Topps pack, ask my parents, look, it's 25 cents. Can I just get a couple packs?
Right.
And then, a couple packs later, you have 792 cards, 3,000 extras to the set, and you're falling in love with the wood grain. All of your favorite players that you're watching on TV, like Don Mattingly, being a huge Yankee fan, and they just stack up. So the next year when the new cards came out, you're like, man, I already have the full set. I got to keep going. And that's really how I started. You start with those old junk wax packs that cost a quarter. And thankfully we did, because look at the products and where the industry is today.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, the industry it's booming like never before. I mean, I know you're in the industry just like I am. And I mean, it's a time unlike anything we've ever seen. As you said, I was around during the quote unquote junk era and everything. And I see everything now. And, even on this week's episode of the podcast, we talked about, is this junk era 2.0, and it's so much different. The hobby's so much stronger, and we really are in a time that we've never seen before, and it's quite the exciting time, especially for us collectors that held on to some of those 90s cards and stuff like that.
Oh man, I'm so happy that I did.
All right, yeah, no, 100%. So speaking on to that, we're gonna dive right into everything. You have, like I said, I knew you for a while. I saw you buy into breaks. I noticed there was a lot of basketball that you were buying into. I should have put two and two together, but I found out very recently that you have quite the extensive Reggie Miller collection. Now, Reggie Miller to me is, I was born in 1984, so Reggie Miller was my heyday. As a kid playing basketball, Reggie Miller, that was my heyday of watching basketball. So I watched him destroy the hopes and dreams of any team I liked countless times. I mean, Reggie was a true assassin in the league that if you didn't get a chance to watch him play live, you truly don't understand what Reggie Miller truly was. But before we get into taking a look at some of these beautiful cards you have and everything, what made you decide to go with Reggie Miller as your PC?
So living here in New York, I knew I wasn't going to be a Knicks fan. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was how poorly they were playing. They could never get over that Eastern Conference Finals hump. They couldn't get to the finals, at least in my age range. Or if it was the terrible orange color that they displayed in the Garden.
Right.
Every time I turn on MSG, I'm like, I can't watch these guys. And when I was the right age, getting into baseball cards and then going into basketball and loving sports, it was right around 94 when Reggie won against the Knicks.
Yeah.
And he was the villain. He was the villain of the Garden.
Oh, classic series. I mean, that was a classic series.
if you're listening at home, if you're pulling up YouTube right now, you got to check out the 94 and 95 playoff series between the Pacers and the Knicks, with Reggie doing the choke against the team and
Yes.
Spike Lee on the sideline. I
Yeah.
looked at that game and I said, this is the guy I have to collect. I have to.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
No, it makes sense. I mean, especially when you're going for, I mean, when you're one of, I miss it. And I mean, I kind of started all over with one of my guys, Bryce Williams from East Carolina, but I miss that when you're in that youthful age where you're trying to decide who is that guy. It ended up being Tim Hardaway for me back in the day. But, you know, Reggie Miller, obviously an assassin, like you said, watching that series, that's the type of stuff he did to every team. It wasn't just that series. Everyone knows about the 9 points. I mean, whatever it was in 7 seconds and everything, which was phenomenal in and out of itself. I mean, we could go on for hours of Reggie Miller's accomplishments. So definitely a good guy to collect, but somebody that never really got the love in the hobby, like the full-on mainstream love that I feel, at least, and I'm sure you do as well, that he deserved. Why do you think that is?
The same reason the Pacers now still wouldn't get any of that love, even though currently, with Victor Oladipo, great player. Before that, you had Paul Star, also phenomenal. And even going back a few years before that, after Reggie had retired, Indiana is such a small market. Nobody's going to pay attention to them. And on the football side, just to transition slightly, I digress a lot. Sorry, apologize ahead of time.
No problem.
As a Detroit Lions fan, you look how good Matthew Stafford is, and I'm probably drinking the purple Kool-Aid or the blue Kool-Aid, but I think Matthew Stafford will be a Hall of Famer, and nobody noticed it because he's in Detroit. So I think Reggie Miller in the 90s just went off. He didn't win the ring. Which doesn't help the hobby love, but playing in such a small market and not really getting on those nationally televised games hurts the card collecting value.
No, absolutely. And I mean, let's be honest, he played in the Jordan era, and some of those Jordan battles were historic, but he played in the Jordan era, and Jordan kept countless Hall of Famers and countless top 20 players from getting rings. So I mean, Reggie, I do think he came along in the wrong time, and like you said, in the Indiana market, I mean, that's a tough market. If Atlanta struggles to get love, then Indiana is going to really struggle to get love. So I think that definitely attributed to it as well. But enough talk about all this. That we got to get down to what this show is about, and that's looking at some beautiful cardboard. So I want you to take us through some of the cards in your PC, and if there's any particular cards that have a story behind them, whether it be family story or just a story of you getting them, something you remember, anything, whatever it may be that you'd like to go with, just show off some of those beautiful Reggie Miller cards. Because one thing I would like to add real quick, the man has a beautiful autograph. You chose a man with a beautiful signature. Good job.
Well, how can I not start out with an autograph card then?
Right. Yeah.
Well played. Joel. All right, let's see if I can show this off on the camera without a glare.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, a little glare there.
Beautiful.
But this is SP Authentics Game Use Fabric. So you see the beautiful Reggie Miller autograph on the side with the number 31. And like me, it's a first name only thing. He just writes Reggie.
Yeah. Yep.
Little piece of the game used jersey is there. So this is out of 100.
Nice.
So one of my favorites. I try not to put value on a favorite card. This kind of goes. It's both though. This is probably one of the more valuable cards that I have, but also it's my favorite. It's got Reggie's autograph right on the side, so hard to top.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I took out maybe 10 or 12 cards from the collection, and I went with unique and things that I personally enjoy. So as a whole, I'll let you show the photos off later on, Drew. But this notebook here. So these are my unique Reggies. Every card in here is a different Reggie Miller card. As crazy as that sounds, but I'm sitting on about 356 different Reggie Miller cards.
Wow.
Yeah. And in total, because I have another stack of doubles and triples here.
Very nice.
Yeah. We're pushing 580, getting the 600,
Okay.
600 Reggies. All right, so you've seen one of my favorites, and I'll start off with, this is SPX. So if you go back to 90, oh yeah.
I love them. I love those cards.
Now it's again a little hard with the glare, but if I
Yeah,
turn,
those cards are tough. Period. But yeah, those die cuts, they were just so beautiful. One of the coolest sets ever. When they came out, I remember just as a kid being like, "Whoa!" Like that was one of those first whoa moments where you're like, "They can do that with a card." Like,
you see a little hologram, like a colored hologram in the back.
Yeah.
Yep. So 96 SPX die cut. It comes in silver and gold. I have both. I just pulled out the silver because it's nice and shiny.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. We also have now Vintage Breaks. I know pulled recently. I think the numbered Kobe Bryant rookie card.
Yes. Out
of this set.
Did.
So we have. Oh, there we go.
Oh, my favorite set. It's sitting on my desk right there with Allen Iverson's version sitting there right on the desk. Yep. That's one of the best sets ever. One of the legendary set right there. EX. That set right there, in my opinion, changed the card game forever. Like it is phenomenal.
If you look at the front, you've got kind of like the refracting in the front. You've got the window in the back.
Yeah.
It's kind of clear, a little acetate. There's clouds.
Yeah.
It's just the cards I'm choosing for you today, Drew. I just want unique and fun cards. Everybody can have a 90 Fleer. Like, everybody has them. You know?
Right. And that's what this is about. This is about. You know, this is about collecting. This isn't a show about, let me show you the 15 cards I've held that I plan on flipping in 6 months. You know, these are the cards where I want to get down to speaking with the true collectors and seeing the cards that mean the most to them. I mean, I have an entire Bryce Williams collection back here. Every single 101 but 3. None of the 101s are worth more than 15 or 20 bucks. None of the rainbows are worth more than 60 bucks, but they all mean the world to me. And so I love seeing these cards that you're pulling out because they're legendary classic sets. They're just beautiful looking cards. And, you know, they have that meaning to you, which is ultimately what the hobby side of this industry is all about.
Hey, we're living up to the show's title. It's the heart of the hobby. It's what you love.
Yes.
Price isn't an object on this show.
No, not at all. Well said, Monty.
All right, next up, another fun one. This is the Emotion card.
Oh, man, you picked some good ones. Some classics.
Yeah, this is a Skybox Emotion, 1995.
Yeah, classic card.
So a lot of the cards, especially the older vintage cards, it's usually a posed card, or if it's an inaction, it's them taking a shot, doing a layup. But it's like the emotion. They're emotional on the court, and you just see Reggie pointing, probably pointing at Spike Lee on the sideline, like, "Listen, Spike, coming at you, bud."
And let's be honest, if there was one man who showed some emotion, you could do an entire 700 card set of just Reggie Miller's emotion on the court. That man showed emotion on the basketball court.
All right, next up, another fun little one. This is a Mystery Finest.
Oh, nice. Pull that bad boy up. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen Mystery Finest before, you're familiar with a lot of the Finest collections that Topps will put out. But when you pull these cards, there's a black film over it. And as a collector, you're like, man, who do I have here? It's a black card.
Yeah.
So you peel off the film on the front to find who was underneath. And they had refractors as well, which I have. I think there's also gold refractors. But just looking for something unique and special, a mystery card, and it ends up being Reggie Miller.
No, that's awesome. That's great. That's wonderful.
All right, so this unique to me and maybe guys our age, collectors our age. So there's not a lot of fanciness to a 92 Topps gold card.
Oh, but still, just a beautiful card. The, the simplicity makes it just, I don't know, one of the simplicity gives it that classic feel, you know,
I do. You have the
the one
classic, yeah.
that 50 years down the line you look at and you're like, oh, that's a slick card. That's a slick looking card.
It's just a subtle hint. You got that. You have the classy white border, just plain card, but then they put some gold flecks on it.
Yeah.
And if you remember back in '92, so the gold cards, I believe, are one in every box as opposed to '94, one in every pack. So it was tough to get those gold cards early on. You had to buy box after box if you want to find a Reggie.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Next up, we've got so I, as a kid, you know, in the
Sure.
97, going to the store, I think I was 16. I probably didn't pay attention in math class. I said, I'm going to go buy these UD3 cards, Upper Deck 3. And then my friends were like, it's a cubed, moron. It's a cube.
No,
so we have the Reggie Upper Deck
I
cube
love
card.
them. You're literally pulling out like the favorite cards of my childhood. I love these cards. I love them all. I have them all. They're right behind me. I love these cards. Beautiful set.
I gotta flip it around to see, but on the front you see the window.
Yeah.
And then if you peep through the window at the light, you see Reggie taking a shot, a contested 3.
Yeah, see, I'm going to explain that to some people because a lot of people may be looking at that card for the first time. What this was it's a card where if you looked at it from up front and you weren't looking through light, it literally looked like there was a piece of the card missing. Like it just looked like a silver. It did. It looked like a flat silver border, like a card saver was on it. But then if you held it up to the light shone through the card and it gave you that look of whatever the action shot was. It was this is back in that awesome 90s, mid to late 90s era where they were trying out all different types of things, all different new technologies, and UD3, another one of those, you know, that in my opinion knocked it out of the park.
And I love the fact you called it UD3. I'm going to go back to my friends in high school and be like, listen, it's UD3, guys. UD3.
Oh, yeah, it's UD3. No. It's UD3.
Those math guys, it's a cube. No, come on.
No.
Speaking of 90s and trying something new.
Absolutely.
It's an Upper Deck E-card.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the value on this Reggie Miller card is probably about 10 cents. But the card came out in 2001 when everybody was just getting into the internet. We still had dial-up, connecting to the Mid-Hudson Online.next.vb. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It wasn't really the internet as we see it today.
Getting AOL CDs in the mail for 30 hours free. Yeah. No.
You get your discs at Borders. But in 2001, to get a basketball card out of a pack with the intent of going to upperdeckdigital.com on a computer and getting a digitized version of a Reggie Miller card, like, what are you guys what are you talking about? What is internet?
Yes.
So
no, way ahead of their time on that one.
Oh, no, I mean, Topps now and Topps Digital and Panini. I mean, they all do this. You can go to an app on your phone. I sound like a grandpa right now. You can go to an app on your phone and get a digital card like it's nothing. But back then, like, what is the internet? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm curious to see, and I'm actually going to look up that very well may be the first redemption like type card through the internet. I mean, it was very early on in the internet when that came out, but that's an interesting one for sure.
Next up, speaking of interesting, great segue, professional segue on these shows.
Yeah, well, we do what we can.
One of the craziest die cuts I've ever seen. Back in '97, Upper Deck put out Masters, and instead of having a die cut on the top, it's on the side of the card.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real, minus a top loader that you could put it in. They don't really make.
I believe there is a second part to that card.
Is there?
That connects to it to make it one. I do not know if it's both Reggie Miller or if
Oh,
it's
true.
another player on the team, but I'm 99% sure that those were meant to be put together as like a line. And so I would check up on eBay because I'm pretty sure that those actually make up a line. What was the name of the set again?
So it's 1997 Upper Deck Masters.
Okay.
Now listen, if you're out there, if you're watching, if you're listening, I want you to reach out to Drew or myself right now because I would be interested in the second half of this card. I didn't know it was a twofer.
Well, I believe so. I'm pretty sure because I have something very similar, and it was curved, and I had the second part of it as well. So
What are the
uh,
odds if you have the other half to my card?
there's a very good chance. I know I'm going to be taking a look as soon as I'm done here, just to try and help you out there. But yeah, guys, watching, which we will be talking to you guys in later, if you know anything about that, if I'm right or if I'm full of hot air, and just giving Monty false hope, which I hope I'm not, but I'm 99% sure on this. And you guys know where any of them are, hit me up. Monty will give you his information at the end of the show. Make sure you let him know because that's a man who I know definitely wants it. But yeah, I love those cards. They're beautiful. And you're right. The die cut on the one side is just,
Awesome.
it's just another cool, unique, different little looking card. It's cool.
All right, we're getting a couple more, just a few more for you.
Sure.
Now this is going back to, I think, 2000. And it's Gold Label, which I know Gold Label is it's still relevant. You may have just seen Topps drop baseball Gold Label now.
Yeah.
But I've got the premium Gold Label.
Oh,
yeah.
I loved those old school gold labels. They were so beautiful. Such a beautiful card.
This little guy, it's out of 1,000, so it's not super limited. But you
Back
see,
then it was. Back then it was.
Oh yeah, now in National Treasures you get the 1 of 1, the 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
So 1 of 1,000. That truly was limited in the day.
Yes. Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, but the Gold Label, so because it has that little refractor to it, refractor feel. You see 4 different images of Reggie on this card. So I like that.
Yeah, that's what I like. That's really one thing I liked about that year Gold Label is how they had multiple action shots superimposed into one card. I thought it was really cool. Where nowadays you can't even get 3 images a year for some players.
No, it's true, especially in this day with COVID and all the restrictions. I'm sure they don't let a lot of cameramen at the show.
No.
We can save that for another topic, but can you imagine what 2021 cards are going to end up looking like if they just don't have the images for players?
Lots of airbrushing, my friend. Lots of airbrushing. Just like this year with that. Just like this year without the rookie premiere. Lots of airbrushing.
They got 20. Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole's first Yankee card came out Top Series 1, I believe, in a Yankee uniform before he took a pitch on the mound. So, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Next up, a fun little 97-98 metal card, but it's the Metal Universe.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, Metal Universe. Beautiful stuff right there. You can never go wrong with a beautiful metal card. They're always. That's one set that I tell people. I'm like, if you're grading cards and setting them aside for 30, 40, 50 years, you know how we have vintage sets that are in just high demand? Metal and those sets are going to be in incredible demand when we in, the next 50 years or so. Those cards revolutionize cards to me.
And you have to take care of them. It's so hard with the chipping on the edge. Think back to 70, 71 if you're going vintage, 71 baseball black borders. It's so like the metal cards are the same way. You can't really keep them in pristine if you don't take it out of the pack and put it right in your penny sleeve and your top load. Yep. All right, I got two more for you, and then I got a couple fun stories.
Cool.
Next, interesting. So 2001. Stadium Club out. It's a swatch, a little game used piece, but it's of the All-Star warm-up.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah. So I have plenty of game used pieces of either jersey or shorts, but to have the All-Star warm-up, I thought was so unique.
No, that's what I like. I was about to say the new unique relic pieces. That's cool. The All-Star game warm up as opposed to just a game used jersey from who knows what game.
Right.
You've got that All-Star game. You can pinpoint it down a little more.
And as cheesy as it is, I know it means nothing, and a lot of real fans don't really care, but I love All-Star games.
So do I.
The dunk contest still suckers me in every single year. The home run derby in baseball gets me so pumped up. I guess I should whisper this, but I even like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, which I don't know if you heard the news, sidetracking, they canceled this year and they said they're redesigning it for next year. So who knows what it's going to be like.
Man, I told you before we started Heart of the Hobby today, Drew, that I digress. I go off on a tangent, but I like what they did the last couple of years at the Pro Bowl with the obstacle course, the dodgeball. That's fun to watch to me. And you know, if they put out game used dodgeball Warren shorts on a card, I'd probably buy one.
Man, I'd buy the dodgeball. It'd be right here up on the wall somewhere. I promise you.
Listen, the first. I know you're a Panthers guy, right? It's the first Panthers game used dodgeball might go up there.
There you go.
I'm gonna finish off. It's not unique, but this is the card that kind of got me started with all my Reggie Miller cards.
Awesome.
So when I was a kid, going from baseball to basketball, our local gas station, Stewart's, used to put boxes out behind the counter. So you'll never see this anymore. You don't go into like a Wawa, a Cumberland Farms, a Getty, Mobile, and you don't find cards. But back then, you can go up and buy a pack of baseball cards. And one of the first packs of basketball I ever saw was 94 USA Skybox, and I pulled out Reggie Miller.
Nice.
I just, I love the flag in the background, the cool jersey.
Yeah.
Just after the Dream, so the Dream Team was in 92. So international basketball, especially U.S. here with Jordan just dominating everybody in 92. I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. It's collectible. I'll put it away. And then the conference finals, the playoff games in 94, 95 with the Pacers against the Knicks. I'm like, this is the guy. This is the guy I need to start collecting right here.
Yeah.
So one of my first Reggie, this is probably 5 cents. It's probably worth less than the sleeve that it's in. But one of the first cards I ever picked up was the 94 Skybox USA Reggie Miller.
Nice, and I love that you still have it. That's one thing that's awesome, is that you still have that first card. And obviously, like you said, it's one of your more important cards. And, because it's your first card, I know that feeling. I know it holds that sentimental value, just like I know a lot of people watching this show know that feeling as well. Looking at those cards now, before we go into, you said you had a couple stories, and I wanted to hear some stories on some of the cards you had. I was just curious, nowadays we're in the 90s, we were in that era of you could buy packs of cards and everything, and you could buy everything relatively cheap up until the last couple of years. But now you're looking at cards out of 5, flawless, national treasures, cards with diamonds, gold, everything you can imagine put into a card outside of a jock strap. Pretty soon, I'm sure Reggie Miller's tooth, if it was knocked out of a game, would be put into a card. But are you? Exactly. Are you chasing any of these modern cards? Are you sticking more of the cards that he's playing in his playing days, or are you even going after? Because I've noticed he disappeared for a while from a lot of cards, but just recently in the last couple of years, we've started to see Reggie Miller cards reappear on the market, some new autographs, some new stuff. So have you been chasing any of those new ones at all, or just sticking with the older stuff and the stuff you already got?
If they pop up, and as you kicked the show off with, you and I really met through Vintage Breaks, and I see a lot of the new products get opened up, and some of the collectors or the customers that buy in will pull a Reggie and then offer it as a trade.
Right.
So I don't intentionally seek out the new material because of the price.
Yes.
If you look at National Treasures for this year, because of Zion Mania, you would know better than I would with the modern, but about $4,500 a box for how
If
many
it, and
10
that
cards?
and that's a good price, and that's a good price.
Yeah, just to get lucky and to spend $4,500 on a box to get a Reggie Miller card doesn't financially make sense. So I'll let somebody else chase his eye
Yeah.
on and pull it and then trade. I know that's such a terrible thing to say, uh,
No.
but it's tough. If you're only looking for one specific player, why waste thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars when you can just pick up the single?
Right, exactly. The box prices have gotten out of control, but I mean Reggie Miller, these new Reggie Miller cards, I mean they command good money, like you said. His Contenders Optic is selling for well over $150. And that's numbered to 25. I mean, but he's in a lot of stuff. National Treasures Auto selling for 175, but then you can get lucky, they're about 150, $200 for most, and then you get into the high end stuff, which is a little bit more. So it's nice to see Reggie getting that love that he does deserve. But I don't want to digress too much because we have been going for a while. But you showed me a lot of amazing cards. You've been collecting for a long time. You've been in this industry for a long time. You work in this industry. I know you've got a lot of stories, and I'm sure you've got a lot of stories behind some of these cards. So let us in on and tell some maybe one, two, whatever you'd like on a story of a card or anything that meant to you and really got you in the hobby.
So not a card, but part
Sure.
of the Reggie Miller collection.
Uh-huh.
I got a pretty funny story. I laugh, the wife doesn't. So when Reggie was set to retire, I live in New York, so I thought, all right, I'm going to go down to Madison Square Garden. I'm going to see him destroy the Knicks one last time.
Yeah.
So as a gift, my wife bought tickets to a game in February. I think it was 2005. And she was all excited, knowing how much I wanted to go see Reggie Miller.
Right.
She gave me the date. This was before, back to that internet thing. Nobody had smartphones in 2005. I don't think Google was a thing. So we wrote it down on a calendar somewhere. And that's what happens. So I wrote the date down. She told me the date, and we had went to a local book signing to meet Triple H, the wrestler.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
awesome. So he put out a book called Making It the Game.
Yes. It's a great book, by the way.
It's fantastic. If you're looking for a book, if you love wrestling, I know, Drew, you're a big WWE guy.
Yeah.
If you want to read, check it out. So I got it signed. I chat with him for a little bit. Thought it was great. Cloud 9. I go to work the next day, and I get a phone call, and the wife is crying. Said, Mrs. Monte, what's up? She's like, the game was last night. We went to meet Triple H during the game. I'm like, no, you make it. We put it on the calendar. I look dead serious. This really happened. So missed out on all the ticket money, missed out on the game. And she felt so bad that she went and bought me tickets to what ended up really being his last game in the Garden.
Oh, wow.
April. Yeah. So I saved the ticket.
Oh, awesome. Slab that bad boy.
Yeah, it's still fresh. It's brand new.
It's cheap to slab tickets. Slab that one, dude. That's beautiful.
For the show today, I brought it out of the holder for the first time.
Wow, I feel very special. That is an immaculate condition, and that's amazing. That first of all, wow, that's crazy. That that talk about a stroke of bad luck, but man, you got a wonderful wife there by your side to get you tickets to another game, which ended up being, like you said, literally a legendary game, because let's face it, Reggie Miller was known as the Madison Square Garden killer. I mean, that's what he was.
When I was in the rafters, the guy next to me, also a Reggie fan, kept shouting out, MSG stands for Miller's Still Great. So,
yeah, there you go.
And listen, before we sign off, Drew, I know I sent you a heads up, but I know you're a Heat fan, I believe.
Yes.
And as a Reggie fan, so I'm going to go in a little old school and a little modern.
Okay.
So I want you, however you want to give it away, one of your listeners, however you want to do it. We're going with it. I think this is Glenn Rice's rookie.
Yes, it is.
And then we also have a newbie, KZ Okapala, if I have that right.
Yeah.
A rated rookie there from Optic, and then Glenn Rice is a 90 Fleer. And I can't give up my Reggies because I'm collecting them.
Right. Yeah.
I'll toss in a 90 Fleer pack. Maybe you can pull that 90 Fleer Reggie
Whoa.
Miller. Or if you're chasing a Jordan, crazy. What this used to be a junk wax era,
I
and
know.
a PSA 10 Jordan now is like $100.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to spread a little Reggie Miller love, a little Heat love to any one of your listeners. However you want to give it away, just give me your address and I'll mail all these out to you.
That is awesome, Monty. Thank you so much. And guys, I'll be posting. Pay attention when we post this episode. It'll be in the comments, and we'll do a little contest for this, and we'll get those out to you because that's just absolutely awesome, Monty. Thank you so much, buddy. That's a great gesture, bud.
Well, thank you for having me on the show, and I'm spreading the hobby love, heart of the hobby.
No, absolutely. And so before I let you go, I got one question left, and then two things total, but one question. And I ask all of our guests this. So you obviously big Reggie Miller collector. The collection, as a collector, we never stop collecting. So what is your current want list like for everyone out there? If they have it, what are some cards, or if they know, hey, my buddy has that, or I see that at the LCS. Are there any cards that are on your want list right now?
I can think of a couple. If I stick with Reggie, I think it was 2000 Topps. I also think it was Gold Label, but they had a piece of the finals used jersey when the Pacers got smoked by the Lakers. It's worth maybe $300 now. It's kind of hard to come by. They don't really pop up on eBay or the secondary market too frequently. So I'll do the Reggie Miller finals game worn jersey card.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to go big time, I do love vintage. I love the Yankees. My dream card's always been a 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle rookie. Listen, the wife buys me great basketball tickets, but she won't get me that card. That's a little too expensive. Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, even a one. If I know you sitting at home listening and watching, you're familiar. But if this is your first time, if you're just coming back into the hobby, if you've never seen a vintage card, a PSA 1, on a scale of a 10 is like $5,000. I can take the car, drive over it in the driveway, maybe let it sit in the rain, and still get $2,000 or $3,000 for it. So it's an expensive card. Yeah. And I do have one that I checked off my list last year. My favorite all-time player, all-time card, baseball-wise, 1984 Topps. Not very valuable, but I love Don Mattingly. I love that rookie card. And I love Aaron Judge and what he has been doing the last couple of years for the Yankees. So last year, Topps put out their anniversary card.
Yeah.
The design was the 1984 Topps. So I got Aaron Judge autographed 1984 Topps card. And I love that. It's out of 8. Not too many around. It's one I won't part with, like my Reggies. So no matter what dollar figure you throw, that's a love card. It brings me back to my youth and when I started collecting, why I started collecting, and I love that 84 Aaron Judge auto.
Absolutely. Well, guys, if you can help him out, especially find that 2000 Gold Label Game Used Finals jersey, that just sounds like an awesome card. I'd want it anyway too. That's incredible. that's I mean, that just shows you in 2000, before the relics got way out of hand, which that is going to be a good byproduct of not having these rookie premieres. The relics the napkins are going to go way down this year, but back then you were putting finals jerseys in patches in Gold Label, which isn't even considered like top notch back then. So
no, it's low end when you look at National Treasures or Origins.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, definitely be on the lookout if you can, in any way, shape, or form, or any other Reggies, any cool Reggies that you guys have or come across. Shoot me a DM or anything. Or as I was about to say, Monty, tell everybody where they can find you on Facebook, where on social media, where they can interact with you, and hopefully you guys can get some more Reggies in that collection of yours.
Oh, that'd be great. Whether it's a duplicate or a unique, man, I'll take them all. Real original names here. Ready? So my full name, Monte Jennings Jr., Monte, Monte Jennings Jr., and that's at Gmail. That's my Twitter handle, and you can find me on Facebook there too. Or if not, if you watch Vintage Breaks, I'm always in the chat. So head over to vintagebreaks.com. Watch us on YouTube and Facebook, and I'm always lurking there. And Drew and his co-host, Chris Gilmore with VB South. Drew, you're on every day, 12 to 4, I think. I'm always in the chat there. So just stop by VB South, send Drew a chat, send Chris a chat, and I'll be on there looking for you.
Absolutely. Well, Monte, thank you so much for joining the show. And guys, I'll be posting here in just a moment, so stick around. I'll be posting some photos from inside those awesome binders and stuff, and some other cards from Monte's collection. So stay tuned for that. But Monte, thank you so much for coming on Heart of the Hobby, and I look forward to talking to you soon, my friend.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you very much.